There's a guy called Yuri Bezmenov. There's a former KGB agent by the name of Yuri Bezmenov. And Bezmenov basically was a defector of the KGB. He left and he sat down in an interview many decades ago and explained the plan of the Soviet Union to take over the USA. Call of Duty released a part of his clip. We're going to be watching the clip in depth, but here's the clip that Call of Duty released. Check it out.
Understand what's going on around you. You are in a state of war, and you have precious little time to save yourself. It's a slow process, which we call active measures. What matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. With a violent change of power, structure, and economy, period of normalization. Active measure time.
Guys, do you understand that $9 for fucking gas, $7 for gas ain't fucking normal, but they're gonna make it normal? Do you understand that going to Afghanistan, going to Iraq, this shit ain't normal, but they're making it normal? Do you guys understand that this whole pronoun bullshit that's going on, all this woke shit that's going on ain't normal, but they're making it normal? That's the name of the game. They're gonna push it so hard till you fucking believe it.
To save yourself is a slow process, which we call active measures. What matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. With a violent change of power, structure, and economy, period of normalization. This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to put a big brother government in Washington, D.C., who will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfillable or not.
They're not going to fulfill promises, bro. They told you that they would get you your health care. They would told you that you'd get your freedom. They told you that you would get the pronouns that you wanted. They told you that you would get wealthy in the process. And look where we are today. The country's in chaos. They don't give a fuck. They'll continue telling you the same shit until you believe it. They ain't gonna do anything to save you.
The disaster is coming closer and closer. The danger is real.
Shout out to Call of Duty for that clip. We're gonna watch the full interview. Go get yourself a cup of water. We're about to dive deep into this 13-minute clip, guys. We're gonna break it down. But you know, even watching this guy, let's take it with a grain of salt. But what I want you to understand is that the life that you're in, the world that you're in, is a world that's been created. And the world that's been created is a world that's been designed to literally perpetrate an agenda on you, right? We know this. We know this fully, right? We know this fully. And the reason we know it is because there's plenty of evidence to showcase, right? Plenty of evidence to showcase that this entire thing is rigged from the top to the bottom. And the people that speak up are shunned. The people that speak up end up being in a situation where they lose their jobs, they lose their income, they lose their status. That's why it's important to have people like me, right? That are no longer bound to the bullshit, that can literally disappear tomorrow. They got millions of dollars in the bank account. They live on the internet, but for all you know, they could be ghosts. So I'm not bound to, an employer telling me that I'm fired because I misgendered somebody, or I'm not bound to some bullshit of being told that I can't work in a certain location because my worldviews are in disagreement with that of the government. We got Yuri Bezmenov, who is talking about warnings to America. And this is a little bit of a more serious video. Now, I don't know how long we'll be up or how long this shit's gonna survive, but while it lasts, let's enjoy it. Okay, this is an interview that happened many years ago. Let's talk about it.
The Soviets used the phrase ideological subversion. What do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the process which is legitimate, overt, and open. You can see it with your own eyes. All you have to do, all American mass media has to do, is to unplug their bananas from their ears, open up their eyes, and they can see it. There is no mystery. There is nothing to do with espionage. I know that espionage intelligence gathering looks more romantic. It sells more deodorants through the advertising, probably. That's why your Hollywood producers are so crazy about James Bond type of thrillers. But in reality, the main emphasis of the KGB is not in the area of intelligence at all. According to my opinion and opinion of many defectors of my caliber, only about 15% of time, money, and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process which we call
demoralization, or something like that.
either ideological subversion or active measures,
Active
активные
measures.
мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students.
That's what it is. We've been talking about the education system, ladies and gentlemen. The education system is designed to demoralize you. It's designed to implement cognitive dissonance, where what is true is no longer true, and all the bullshit that's being propagated is the new agenda. If you guys haven't seen a deterioration in society, then I don't know what to tell you. But these guys, these fucking Russians, they tell you like, bro, this is what we're doing. Like, this is the fucking playbook. This is the fucking playbook. So this isn't coming from some conspiracy motherfucker that's on the internet telling you shit. I'm just covering what these guys who are defectors, right, of the Soviet Union are telling you, yo, this is kind of what we're up to, bro. Check it out. And once you understand this, the thing is, I have to first free your mind so that then you can understand how to make fucking money, so that then you can understand how to play the game. But I have so much garbage to pull away from your fucking heads. That's why we're starting right here. You have so much garbage right here. Here. You have so much shit that I have to retrain you guys. So this shit happened about 40 years ago, and they tell you in 15, it takes about 10 to 15 years, we can change an entire culture. And what's happening right now? Psychological warfare at its highest level.
In the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students.
Soft heads.
Without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The result you can see. Most of the people who graduated in the 60s, dropouts or half-baked intellectuals, are now occupying the positions of power in the government, civil service, business, mass media, educational system. You are stuck with them. You cannot get rid of them. They are contaminated. They are programmed to think and react to certain stimuli in a certain pattern.
Robots.
You cannot...
You can control motherfuckers. You just have to train them to be controlled. Most of you guys are programmed. And in order to beat the system, you have to be deprogrammed. You have to retrain your mind. That's why we're pushing all this communist bullshit, where there's no such thing as being an individual. There's no such thing as having individual thought. That shit doesn't exist anymore. If you do not conform to the status quo, if you do not conform to the average, right? If you do not conform to what the masses want, you get shunned. You get destroyed. You get displaced. You get rejected. You get insulted. Unlearn everything. Everything that you've been told is a lie. All of it. All of it. If you're going to leave better today than you did yesterday, I'm showing you guys the facts, right? At this point, I'm showing you guys the facts. This is the name of the game. Whether you choose to listen or not, that's up to you. It will have zero impact on the quality and outcome of my life. This is all about you.
Change their mind, even if you expose them to authentic information, even if you prove that white is white and black is black, you still cannot change the basic perception and the logic of behavior.
You can't change it. This is what's called cognitive dissonance, ladies and gentlemen, that it doesn't matter how much evidence you present. It doesn't matter how much logic you utilize to convince these motherfuckers that they're living in an indoctrinated way, that they're living in a system that's designed to completely wreck them. It doesn't matter what you present. It doesn't matter what you present. You cannot get through to them. You cannot get through to them.
white is white and black is black. You still cannot change the basic perception and the logic of behavior. In other words, these people, the process of demoralization is complete and irreversible.
Irreversible. That's why I'm not here to convince motherfuckers. I'm here to unplug minds that are ready to be unplugged. The rest, do your own thing, motherfuckers. Do your own thing, whatever you want. If you want to be here, if you want to tune in every single day, if you want to level up, if you want to get rich as fuck, if you want to understand how to play the game, if you want to travel around the world and not be bound to some bullshit-ass 9-to-5 desk job, then tune in. If not, do your own thing, motherfucker. It does. I don't care. I don't care. You got that? I don't give a fuck.
Treat society of these people. You need another 20 or 15 years to educate a new generation of patriots.
We're here to educate you motherfuckers. And every time this message gets put out, they get subverted, right? Because it's so deep ingrained in the system that you're fighting against the entire system. You're fighting against the entire system. So it's going to take a lot of work. You can't, not one person, not two people can do it. It takes a lot of us.
Practically minded and common sense people who would be acting in favor and in the interests of the United States society.
And yet these people who've been programmed and, as you say, in place and
Yes.
who are favorable to an opening with the Soviet concept, these are the very people who would be marked for extermination in this country?
Most of them, yes, simply because the psychological shock when they will see in future what the beautiful society of equality and social justice means in
The beautiful social justice and equality, right? This is the lies that you're being fed. The lies of equality. The lies of equality. You're being fed this bullshit. This interview that was 40 years ago. The guy's literally telling you in front of your fucking face, yo, they're finessing you. They're finessing your ass in real time.
Soviet concept. These are the very people who would be marked for extermination in this country?
most of them, yes, simply because the psychological shock when they will see in future what the beautiful society of equality and social justice means in practice, obviously they will revolt. They will be very unhappy, frustrated people. And the Marxist-Leninist regime does not tolerate these people. Obviously they will join the links of dissenters, dissidents.
Welcome to the dissidents, ladies and gentlemen.
Unlike in present United States, there will be no place for dissent in future Marxist-Leninist America.
Of course not.
Here you can get.
There won't be room for free thinkers. There won't be room for people that want to operate freely. Guys, it's in front of you. This interview is decades old, and they basically predicted exactly what's going to happen.
Popular like Daniel Ellsberg and filthy rich like Jane Fonda for being dissident, for criticizing your Pentagon. In future, these people will be simply squashed like cockroaches. Nobody is going to pay them nothing for their beautiful, noble ideas of equality. This they don't understand, and it will be a greatest shock for them, of course. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years. Actually, it's overfulfilled because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned,
No moral standards. There's no such thing as right. There's no such thing as wrong. Everything, it can be whatever you want it to be. You can do whatever you want. You can't criticize other people. You can't have your own opinion. You can't have morality because morality is subjective. Whether it is or it isn't, you get criticized. You got to be a complete fucking degenerate, part of the culture, fucking host 24/7, popping pussy. If you're not compliant, then get the fuck out. That's how they treat you.
mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore.
The exposure to real information, the exposure to the truth, you can't get through to them. So if you guys are in a situation, if you guys are here in chat, like you guys are fucking lucky, bro. Lucky. And the reason you're lucky is because you're getting access to I'm not saying the truth. You're getting access to a different perspective. A different perspective. A perspective that'll give you what? More information. And based on that additional information, you can start creating your own worldview.
A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to.
He will refuse to believe. Have you guys not seen what's happened with socialism? How socialism doesn't fucking work? We've seen it over and over and over in history. Every time it fails. Communism fails, but it doesn't matter. You have all these little fucking dweebs with their Mac computers saying we want to be socialist, fuck capitalism, with their $900 iPhones, with their $1,500 Macs, sipping their fucking $8 lattes, because they are so fucking gone that it doesn't matter the information you give them. They will not fucking get it. But if you're watching this message, hopefully you think differently.
To believe it until the Union and show him concentration camp. He will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his, then he will understand. But
when the military boot comes and cracks down on him, when it actually becomes socialism, that's why you need to get the fuck out. Do you understand the whole message? Tate talks about this, bro. He talks about being on multiple grids. He talks about being on multiple grids. You know, I've been talking about this shit. That's why I got passports in 4 different countries. I've been all over the world. I have different locations, different satellite countries that I travel, different homes all around the world. I have currencies all around the world. I have bank accounts all around the world. Why? Because if shit hits the fan, I'm out. And a lot of you guys, whether you believe this or not, you can't do anything about it because you ain't got fucking money. And then all these other libs on YouTube saying, yeah, but not everybody can get rich because they're fucking drones of the system, bro. They're robots. They're ingrained to teach you that you got to stay broke so that you can stay a slave.
But not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization. So basically America is stuck with demoralization, and unless, even if you start right now, here, this minute, you start educating new generation of Americans, it will still take you 15 to 20 years to turn the tide of ideological perception of reality back to normalcy and patriotism. The next stage is destabilization. This
is the stage that I believe we just went through, right? They've destabilized the economy, they've destabilized the home, they've destabilized the government, they've destabilized values and morals. This is what we've just gone through.
This time, subverter does not care about your ideas and the patterns of your consumption.
I want to make a comment. Here we have Jock DePusa says, dude, can you show us how to get money? You're talking about Soviet spies and stuff. I want to make more money. Brother, listen to me. You ain't going to make shit unless you understand how the fucking world works. Do you get it? You don't get money. You earn money. So you got to learn how to become a valuable asset to society first. I'm teaching you how to be a fucking free thinker. Chill the fuck out, open up your ears, sit down, pull a pen and paper out, motherfucker, and get educated, because you ain't learning this in school. Hit the like buttons, hit the W, boys.
Whether you eat junk food and get fat and flabby, it doesn't matter anymore. This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation, what matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. And you can see it quite clearly that in some areas, in such sensitive areas as defense and economy, the influence of Marxist-Leninist ideas in the United States is absolutely fantastic. I could never believe it 14 years ago when I landed in this part of the world that the process will go that fast. The next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take only up to 6 weeks to bring a country to the verge of crisis.
Verge of crisis, does that sound familiar, ladies and gentlemen?
You can see it in Central America now. And after crisis, with a violent change of power, structure, and economy, you have so-called the period of normalization. It may last indefinitely. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet propaganda. When the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in '68,
they normalize it. They normalize this transgender shit. They normalize tax rates being high. They normalize jabbing you left and right. They normalize viruses coming out every 6 weeks. They normalize all this dumbass shit. And guess what? You're so ingrained in the system that you're not willing to fight it. And if you don't fight for your freedom, nobody will. You think this shit's free? You think freedom's fucking free, bro? What type of fairy tale do you fucking live in?
Elderly Czechoslovakia is normalized. This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to bring the country to crisis, to promise people all kind of goodies and the paradise on earth, to destabilize your economy, to eliminate.
Guys, it's just happened. What are the fucking goodies that they promoted? 1,800 stimmy checks, $1,800 stimmy checks, and what happened? They destabilized the entire fucking world. In front of your face. This interview is 40 years old. This dude is fucking telling you the exact game plan that happened.
The principle of free market competition and to put a big brother government.
Big brother government. Yo, you see this shit's happening. These cycles in society keep happening over and over and over again. Unless you get out of it, you are going to be condemned to repeating history again and again.
In Washington, D.C., with the benevolent dictators like Walter Mondale, who will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfillable or not. He will go to Moscow to kiss the bottoms of new generation of Soviet assassins, never mind. He will create false illusions that the situation is under control. Situation is not under control. Situation is disgustingly out of control.
That's the world that we live in. They tell you that we're in control, that everything's fine, that inflation isn't real, that we don't have the real definition of inflation, that, you know, our country, all the morals and values that we used to hold, they're no longer valuable, that what's valuable is this new, what do they call it? What's the word? Progressive ideologies that are being implemented. And if you don't follow the progressive ideologies, well then your entire life is ruined.
Most of the American politicians, media and educational system trains another generation of people who think they are living at a peacetime. False. The United States is in the...
That's why you motherfuckers are comfortable, bro. You think everything around you is good and you don't understand that you're about to get fucked. Fucked so hard. You're about to get destroyed. I cannot sleep at night. I cannot sleep at night. There's some... Guys, I'm sitting on tens of millions of fucking dollars. Tons of skills, a crazy ass network. I can go anywhere in the world that I want, establish base, do whatever the fuck I want. That's why I no longer live in mainland US. That's why I no longer live on the mainland, bro. Because if I need to take a jet and get the fuck out of here, I'll be gone within 2 hours. I'm gone. I don't give a fuck. I'm gone.
The state of war. Undeclared total war against the basic principles and the foundations of this system. And the initiator of this war is not Comrade Andropov, of course. It's the system.
W for this motherfucker for telling us the playbook, bro. W for Yuri, bro. W for Yuri, bro. This is the name of the video. You can watch it on your own time. W for Yuri, bro.
However ridiculous it may sound, the world communist system or the world communist conspiracy, whether I scare some people or not, I don't give a hoot. If you are not scared by now, nothing can scare you. But you don't have to be paranoid about it. What actually happens now, that unlike myself, you have literally several years to live on unless the United States wake up. The time bomb is ticking. With every second, the disaster is coming closer and closer. Unlike myself, you will have nowhere to defect to, unless you want to live in Antarctica with penguins.
That's why all these libs are out here saying, you know, the U.S. is the best place to live. You know, you can be here, you can be safe, you can live on your stimmy check. You're going to be part of the system, and there's nothing you can do about it. The first thing that is important is realizing that you have a problem. The second thing is figuring out how the fuck do you solve it. And a lot of you guys don't know how to solve the problems because you don't have the network, you don't have the education, you don't have the resources to get out. That's why we're launching Capital Club, which is the largest decentralized entrepreneurial network on planet Earth, focused on helping people, focused on creating, multiplying, and preserving wealth. I can't do this shit by myself. It's an illusion. But I'm forming a global network of entrepreneurs. The biggest names that you know, we're allies. You'd be surprised who I'm talking to. The biggest names on TikTok, all these motherfuckers that everybody worships, they're all my boys. Every single one of them.
This is it. This is the last country of freedom and possibility.
Okay, so what do we...
And I disagree with that. There's another country of freedom and possibility, a few more. But the United States gives you access to doing business at a global scale like nobody else, right? So you need to be able to take advantage of that.
do? What is your recommendation to the American people?
Well, the immediate thing that comes to my mind is, of course, there must be a very strong national effort to educate people in
You see, people are trying to get money, and the guy's literally telling you the first thing you gotta do is get educated. The first thing you gotta do is get educated about what the fuck is happening in the system, what's happening around you, how they're trying to steal your freedoms, how they're trying to keep you a peasant, how they're trying to rob you for everything that you're worth, and you're only a fucking number. The guy is literally telling you in real time, 40 years ago this shit was put out. And it's happening. It's prophecy of what's happening today. Guys, in this stream, if you guys haven't woken up, this isn't some anecdotal Matrix ass bullshit. This is the real world, the world that you live in.
In the spirit of real patriotism, number one. Number two, to explain them the real danger of socialist, communist, whatever.
And you explain to them the issues that are happening. You explain to them that a lot of these conspiracies are true. You explain to them what we're going to be covering, how the banking system is a scam, how the US dollar is an absolute sham, and they'll laugh at you. They'll laugh at you because they're comfortable. They're comfortable on their fucking TikTok accounts. They're comfortable watching YouTube all day, and they don't realize that their freedoms are being stolen from them in real time under their noses.
Fair state, big brother government. If people will fail to grasp the impending danger of that development, nothing ever can help United States. You may kiss goodbye to your freedom, including freedoms to homosexuals, to prison inmate. All this freedom will vanish, evaporate in 5 seconds, including your precious lives. The second thing, the moment at least part of United States population is convinced that the danger is real, they have to force their government. And I'm not talking about sending letters, signing petitions, and all this beautiful, noble activity. I'm talking about forcing United States government to stop aiding communism. Because there is no other problem more burning and urgent than to stop the Soviet military-industrial complex from destroying whatever is left of the free world. And it is very easy to do. No credits, no technology, no money, no political or diplomatic recognition, and of course no such idiocy as grain deals to USSR. The Soviet people, 270 millions of Soviets, will be eternally thankful to you if you stop aiding a bunch of murderers who sit now in Kremlin and whom President Reagan respectfully calls government. They do not govern anything, least of all such complexity as the Soviet economy. So two very simple, maybe too simplistic answers or solutions, but nevertheless, they are the only solutions. Educate yourself, understand what's going on around you. You are not living at a time of peace. You are in a state of war, and you have precious little time to save yourself.
And you watch a lot of these videos from these people sitting on their fucking Twitch channels talking and making you feel comfortable, making you feel like things aren't falling and breaking and getting destroyed in real time. This dude put out this interview 40 years ago telling you we're absolutely getting fucked if we don't get educated and change our mindset and change our behavior and start operating a different way. This happened 40 years ago. People didn't fucking listen. Look where we are today.
You don't have much time, especially if you are talking about young generation. There's not much time left for convulsions to the beautiful disco music. Very soon it will go, just overnight. If we are talking about capitalists or wealthy businessmen, I think they are selling the rope on which they will hang very soon. If they don't stop, if they cannot curb their unsettled desire for profit, and
that's what happened in the US. They're selling you out in real time. They're selling you out for a fucking hamburger. They're selling you out for some data. They're selling you out in real time because these guys, they don't give a fuck about you, bro. They'll sell you out. They don't care. They'll get out. They'll live in their ivory towers. And you're just giving them your money. You're giving them your resources. You're funding their lives. And you're just a peasant.
they keep on trading with the monster of the Soviet communism, they are going to hang very soon. And they will pray to be killed, but unfortunately they will be sent to Alaska probably to manage industry of slaves. It's simplistic. I know it sounds unpleasant. I know Americans don't like to listen to things which are unpleasant.
Americans don't like to listen to things that are unpleasant. Has anything changed? Anytime you mention anything offensive, anytime you mention your opinion, every time you talk your truth, Americans don't like to hear unpleasant things. Americans don't like to be offended. Americans don't like to have their opinions questioned. Wake the fuck up, brother. Wake the fuck up.
But I have defected not to tell you the stories about such idiocy as microfilm, James Bond type espionage. This is garbage. You don't need any espionage anymore. I have come to talk about survival. It's a question of survival of this system. You may ask me what...
Do you understand that freedom is a new concept, guys, in society? Do you understand that freedom is a new concept? And if you don't fight for your freedom, if you don't fight for your rights, if you don't stand for what is true and what is correct, you will get chewed up and destroyed. You will get chewed up and destroyed. That's how the game is played. If you do not protect your freedom, somebody will come and take it from you. Since the beginning of mankind, since the dawn of humanity, we've lived in imperialistic societies, we've lived in monarchy societies, we've lived in societies where you couldn't fucking talk about shit. Even the word fuck, right? F-U-C-K. It's an acronym for what? Fornication under consent of the king. You used to have to get permission from the king in order to have fucking intercourse. And that's how the word fuck came to be. Imagine going back to society where you have to ask for permission for all this shit. Well, guess what's happening? That is exactly what's happening in real time in our country. And unless you act, you will get destroyed.
What is it in for me? Survival, obviously. Because as I said, I am now in your boat. If we sing together, we'll sing beautifully together.